Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be covering some battles that I did on Mathematic stream. Mathematic, obviously my good friend of mine. You can check him out on Twitch. Great content creator. We did a dual stream on his channel, and normally I only do battles on my stream, so this is a pretty cool opportunity to record my battles and then as well talk with them and recap them, as opposed to just me talking on the stream. So I'm actually just gonna mute myself here so you don't hear the audio. I think I used 5 different teams. I had a very successful day. I went 23-7. I think the last 2 sets I used kind of questionable teams. So, but overall, I went. I think I started the game. I started with like a 12-game winning streak. I only started recording into like the 4th battle of the first team. The first team is Abomasnow with Powder Snow, Weather Ball, and Energy Ball. Azumarill with Bubble, Ice Beam, and Hydro Pump, and then Defense Deoxys with Counter, Rock Slide, and Thunderbolt. I absolutely love this team. I think it's one of the most underrated teams in Go Battle League right now. All 3 are extremely strong. I'm going to speed this up. So what I like to do against Galarian Stunfisk is I like to throw 2 Weather Balls. I like to try to get the extra Powder Snow in. And I like to throw 2 Weather Balls. I build up a little bit, build up to the Energy Ball. Then I throw. And then I usually throw 2. But because I snuck the Powder Snow in, I think I kind of screwed up here. And then I try to catch the second Rock Slide on Defense Deoxys. So it takes 9 Powder Snows to get to 2 Weather Balls. And then it takes 10 Mud Shots to get to 2 Rock Slides. But because I snuck one in, my timing was slightly off there. So they come in with Shift Tree. So here I'm perfectly fine. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to actually look to farm down the Shift Tree afterwards. They throw the Foul Play, so they actually have to throw another move or I make it to the Rock Slide. So that's fantastic for me. And then I'm going to look to Powder Snow down. So wait the clock out. And I am going to let this go because the Rock Slide does more than the Foul Play. And they actually end up Leaf Blading me, which is great for me. And then they did a really nice move there, switching right away, and that kind of threw me off guard. But I'm going to shield this. I'm going to build up a little bit extra energy because I know they just barely got over the Rock Slide before throwing. And I'm going to throw the Energy Ball here to take out this Stunfisk. And then this game's absolutely over. This Energy Ball does so much damage to Azumarill. It does basically 2/3 of Azumarill's health. And yeah, and I don't even know if I get KO'd by this Ice Beam. Probably, actually. Yeah. And then I come to my own Azumarill, and this game's over. I'm at full health. They're basically a couple bubbles and a Hydro Pump away from being KO'd. So I'm able to pick up, I think that's like my 4th win of that set. I was just on fire this morning, mostly because I was using really strong teams. So this is a very fantastic lead, and this actually Razor Leaf, so it's even better. And they actually make a really nice switch here. It's kind of completely random that they caught this. But they made a mistake here. Maybe they thought I saw them switch in. And then they actually went into Dugong. And obviously Dugong double resists the Weather Balls. So I'm kind of fortunate there. And they also have Frost Breath. So this might be only like single legacy Dugong. Frost Breath does more damage than Ice Shard, but Ice Shard's definitely the superior move. It would actually be kind of fun if they reworked Frost Breath to make it more viable, so that way people don't have to spend their elite TMs, but that might be asking for too much. I'm hoping to counter down, which I am able to. And they come into Sharpedo here. I am debuffed, so this Rock Slide probably doesn't KO, but it does quite a bit of damage. And then this game's pretty much over. I can just go into Azumarill here, and Azumarill resists the bite. They have the Leaf Blade ready. Very nice by them. I'm going to shield here, but it really doesn't matter too much. And I know it's going to take 9 Razor Leafs to get to 2. So I'm actually going to look to farm down and then throw the Energy Ball. And that pretty much wraps up the set there. So I love this team. I think it's fantastic. Typically I run it with Shadow Abomasnow, but one of the team requests was with regular Abomasnow. So I think this is the last game with this team, and then we're going to move on to another team. So another good lead for me. I go into Deoxys. Normally I tell my students always to throw the Thunderbolt first because typically they don't shield. So I'm actually going to let this go because I know it's a Sky attack. But this time I actually don't listen to my own advice. I go for the Rock Slide. The Rock Slide's a safer play, but you can actually Thunderbolt and then straight Rock Slide and still win the match. So I am going to shield this. And then I believe I actually going to build up to 2 because it's going to be a little bit less time. I'm actually 1 counter short of 2. So let's see if they're going to shield. They actually... And then I'm actually able to counter down before they're actually able to get the remaining energy. So that was fantastic for me. This is not a great situation. And I actually really thought about switching out here because I really don't like King Farm down here. But I figured they're not going to get that much energy, and I'm going to put them into Weather Ball range. So they are at enough energy for the Sludge Wave, which wouldn't necessarily one-shot from this range, but it would put it super low. And they go into Registeel. I'm down a shield, so this is not looking good for me at all. Ultimately, I know I have to land the Hydro Pump. So it's about 4 2/3 bubbles for every Flash Cannon. So it's like 7 seconds versus like 5 bubbles is 7.5, 4 is 6. So if I can sneak in this bubble, which I'm not able to, so it's not great for me. And at this point in time, I debate between going for the Ice Beam or going straight for the Hydro Pump. But the only way I'm going to win here is landing the Hydro Pump. So this is fantastic for me. And I'm able to land it. And I believe they actually bank it. So I could have farmed a little bit more because they had just thrown the Sludge. But I'm in a really good spot right now. And I'm not actually sure this Flash probably does KO. It does. And I know I'm only like 3 bubbles away, which means I'm going to be able to beat them to it. Because if they throw the Flash Cannon, they need like... well, if they were at 100, which they weren't, then if they were at 100, they probably would have beat me. The next team is recommended by OK Haha, inspired by Limon Lime, a very talented battler, and that's Defense Deoxys, Mandibuzz, and Shiftry. So this is not a great lead. So here, what I like to do, I really don't like throwing the charge moves into Galarian Stunfisk with Deoxys. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to read their pattern. So they like to throw Earthquake. So what I'm going to here actually go over 100, and I'm going to catch the Earthquake with Shiftry, which actually resist it. I thought about going to Mandibuzz, but they would probably stay, and that wouldn't be good for me. So here they come into Skarmory. So that's okay for me because I'm loaded on Deoxys already. It looks like they lag a little bit. I'm able to get off this another foul play, which is fantastic for me. And I'm going to go to Mandibuzz because I'm already at 100 energy with Deoxys. And I actually don't want to throw a charge move because I think it's going to be a waste. So I actually go into Mandibuzz, and they actually blind throw the Sky attack, which is really good for me. Because now they definitely could have made it to the Brave Bird, which would have did a lot more damage. I'm actually able to Snarl down, which is great. And they actually have a Azumarill, so that's actually pretty bad for both my Pokemon. So I throw the Shadow Ball. Doesn't do that much damage. I'm going to build up a little bit. And then I'm going to switch out. And I'm actually going to go for the bait. I'm already at 100 energy, so I can throw a Rock Slide and a Thunderbolt. And then I'm going to throw the Thunderbolt here. So potentially grab the second shield or be able to take the move, right? So I know this is an Ice Beam, so I know Earthquake is going to do more. Actually, I didn't know it was Ice Beam. They had enough energy for a Hydro Pump. So here, I'm like, I have to shield this. I really debated shielding this or not, but I kind of had to shield it and then look to counter down. I'm just barely able to counter down. This Thunderbolt is going to be absolutely huge because it's going to take a huge chunk out of Azumarill's health. And I'm actually going to switch and throw the Shadow Ball. Mandibuzz is godly tanky. Like, it just takes that, takes the Ice Beam like it's nothing. And I'm able to hit the Shadow Ball and actually able to take out the Azumarill. So Very nice game right there from a pretty tough lead. Stunfisk is actually not a really great lead. And, and then I run to its cousin, Unova Stunfisk. So, which is not great. The good thing here is that the charge moves do more damage. The problem is I actually don't deal super effective damage with the counters. So I do overcharge a little bit, try to fast move deny, which I'm successful there in doing. And I'm gonna throw another rock slide. So again, pretty tough lead. I definitely lose this lead. There's not really much I can do here. They're absolutely loaded with energy. They throw the discharge. Honestly, they could have threw the mud bomb here, and it definitely would have KO'd. But I believe they actually throw another discharge. The only advantage of throwing the mud bomb is that the second one after the charge move afterwards would be one less fast move. So they throw the mud bomb here, which is kind of a smart play because that definitely allowed them to get to another one here. They otherwise wouldn't. They actually survived with 1 HP. So I'm like, oh, this is pretty rough for me. I'm not gonna lie. I farm down. I'm like, this is my only way to win. And they actually come into Obstagoon. That is not good for me. And I throw, and I'm gonna bank it. And they actually come into Hypno to Mandibuzz. This is a very positive matchup for Mandibuzz. It's aiming for super effective snarls and super effective foul plays, and the confusions are double resisted. I am gonna just shield both punches. I know ultimately the gunk shot is gonna do the most damage, but I figured like I can keep this healthy enough that I can avoid being countered down than being sludge bombed onto my shift tree. At least that's what my plan was. Very debatable. I probably should have took a Thunder Punch. I probably should have took both Thunder Punches, to be honest. But I ended up shielding. And I'm going to build up a little bit extra. I actually end up over farming, but the extra energy is really nice because I actually need it for this Obstagoon. I potentially could have undercharged this. I'm actually not sure it's able. It does KO. So I have energy. So my goal here is to catch the gunk shot onto shift tree. That's like my entire goal. That's like really the only way I'm gonna potentially win. And I'm just spamming these, counting the fast moves, getting ready to be able to sack switch. And I'm actually able to, this is pretty miraculous play here, I'm actually able to switch in the middle of the counters just because of how they were synced, and then they still throw the gunk shot, which is amazing for me because now to be honest, if they threw the night slash there, they wouldn't have got to the gunk shot anyways, but it's still pretty nice. So I'm actually able to win that game very toughly to deal with. Yeah, and worked out pretty well for me. All right, we're on to the next match. It's another Stunfisk. These pancakes will not leave me alone. It is a mud shot variant, which is a little bit better for my Mandibuzz if I have to deal with it a little bit later, because obviously it will double resist the fast moves. Not that the fast moves to do that much damage anyways. Yeah, Mud Shot and Thunder Shock are clones of each other, so I'm going to be able to throw a rock slide. They actually switch here, which is fantastic for me. And I go, I think I shield here. And it's too bad here I get outpaced to the Thunderbolts because they end up shielding. And I know I need to win Switch. If I win Switch, it's game over, right? This is pretty much it, right? So I'm just short of the Thunderbolt. So I believe I actually did throw the Thunderbolt. And now it's going to be a race. It's not so much a race. It's whether or not I can survive the air slashes. It's actually pretty close, and I'm just barely able to survive. This rock slide typically does like just under 25% to Skarmory, which is just barely enough. And now I'm in a really good spot here. And we experience a little bit of lag, and I'm just going to be able to throw this Sleep Blade, and Shift Tree's just going to be able to sweep here, which is a really great situation for me. And they decide to leave the match. So able to come back from another really tough lead. Honestly, they should have stayed. Was probably their best course of action. But you know, it's totally fine. All right, and we go Deoxys into Bastiodon, so that's really good for me. They come into Haunter. Debatable whether or not this was the right play. I'm going to shield this because likely they're going for the Sludge Bomb. And I'm going to build up a little bit extra energy. And I'm going to throw the Leaf Blade. Even though the Leaf Blade is resisted, it should be enough damage. Debatably, I could have went to Mandibuzz, but it's going to have like a little bit... It'd get farmed more by Bastiodon. So they actually end up showing their Medicham here. And these Leaf Blades are still going to be able to chunk this Medicham, which is pretty nice. Going to do about like 30%-ish and put it below half with the Snarl damage. And I know I'm in a really good spot. This is actually above level 40 Medicham, so it's actually kind of cool to see. And the way I lose this match is if I shield a Power-Up Punch and they land an Ice Punch later. So I'm just not going to shield. Mandibuzz is like a flying Umbreon. It's so tanky. It's like kind of ridiculous how tanky it is. They actually make a really nice switch, I think, in a little bit, but really doesn't make too big a difference. Because honestly, Deoxys could beat both Pokemon at this HP range. Go for Power Up Punch. And they make a really nice catch here to catch the foul play. But this is totally fine because I'm going to go straight into Deoxys. And these counters are dealing double super effective damage. And the Thunderbolt is going to hit for neutral. They're all non-stabs. And plus Deoxys is very attack weighted. So they're not necessarily packing the same punch as some other counter users. But still pretty nice. I know the Stone Edge is going to do the most damage because they basically resist everything from Medicham except for like Ice Punch. And they decide to leave the match. So I pick up another really nice win there with this team. And I'm going to go for the 5-0. So this would be back-to-back 5-0s. And they actually go into Pelipper. And I really don't have a great answer to Pelipper, to be honest. So I actually go into Mandibuzz here, I believe. Honestly, I should shield this first one because everyone's going to throw the Hurricane because no one shields their Mandibuzz, just like I did there. And it does like almost half damage. And this foul, and honestly, like Mandibuzz just doesn't hit that hard, so the foul play isn't going to do that much. I need to land a second one. I really wanted to call the no shield here, but it was just a little bit too gutsy. It was such an obvious Weather Ball here. But if they threw the Hurricane, I would have been in pretty big trouble. So I think they believe that they actually let this go, which makes sense. And I had to throw right away because another Weather Ball was going to come. So another Weather Ball would have put me really low. And I land the foul play. And Mandibuzz is just so tanky. I'm actually able to get to another foul play, which is going to provide some really nice chip damage. Basically put it like in like 2 Leaf Blade range, which is pretty nice. And I believe I actually let this go. And let's see what they're going to come in with. They come in with Tropius. I believe this is Razor Leaf Tropius. I just throw this to take a shield, potentially. They actually end up no shielding. I realize it's Razor Leaf. I can get out of here. I can safely shield and build up. I throw the foul play here. The foul play is not going to KO. And my best option here is to shield because it's like kind of my last remaining healthy Pokemon. And they actually go for the Aerial Ace, which makes sense because they're only going to be able to get to one move. And I'm going to look to Snarl down. And then here comes the Bastiodon. I'm looking to Fast Move Deny, so I'm able to Fast Move Deny there. That's great. And I believe I throw another one. Another Smackdown gets avoided, which is fantastic. And my only lose condition here is they smack me down. So I switch right away. They have energy, and they throw the Stone Edge or Flamethrower, doesn't really matter. Both of them will same energy, will KO. And now they're one Snarl away. I'm actually able to take them out. So some really nice play. The Pelipper switch in was kind of weird to deal with. This next team, I would not recommend running this team. This is Obstagoon, Bastiodon. Oh, no, it wasn't Shiftry. It's actually Marowak. Pretend that's a Marowak. Anyways, I don't even want to show this team because this team is pretty bad, to be honest. Because like actually I'm just going to show this team. I made a mistake here on the image. It should be Shiftry. Not Shiftry, it should be Marowak. So they come into Cresselia, and this is not good for me. I actually get attack debuffed, which kind of drags out this match. And I'm going to throw the Stone Edge at this Cresselia. It's still a very positive matchup for Bastiodon, but it's a little bit closer because they're actually going to throw, I believe, a Grass Knot right now. Oh, shit, they throw a Moonblast. They actually do have Grass Knot. I recommend that you throw Grass Knot into Bastiodon because you do take neutral damage there. And they have Grass Knot. It does so much more damage than the Moonblast, so... And it's less energy, so I recommend that you throw it. Both of them have no stab on it. And they come into Marowak. I'm looking to land this Stone Edge. Even with the attack drop, this is still going to do some pretty nice damage. And I believe I actually switch out to Obstagoon to be able to throw these Night Slashes into the Marowak, and they're actually not able to get out. So I land this very nice Night Slash. They switch out. They have, they still have their Shift Tray lead. They actually go for the Foul Play. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe they thought I was going to shield anyway, so it didn't really matter what they're going to throw. They're only going to be able to make 2. Not really sure there, to be honest. So I counter down, and they decide to leave the match because this game's over. I still have a shield, plus a whole other Pokemon to utilize. So I think I play like 2 more games with this set, maybe 1 more. I believe I actually played 2 more. I'm actually going to skip these battles because I actually really didn't like them. That one I got kind of lucky with. Okay. Let's go over to this next team. This 4th team, which I like better, which is Azumarill with Play Rough, Hydro Pump, Meganium, and Marowak. So to be honest, I don't prefer Play Rough, Hydro Pump in the league. I think the Ice Beam is really nice for the bait, but I understand why some people want the Hydro Pump because it's kind of nice for like Stunfisk leads where you just go for the Hydro Pump. They typically don't shield. So then I shield here. So I shield the Sludge Bomb. And then I think we lag somewhere. Yeah, we lag right here. And I should have been able to get like I think I lost like 1 turn there because they got to the Sludge Bomb a little bit sooner than I thought they would. And it switches me for no reason. For no reason it switches me. I didn't click anything. It totally I don't know what the heck happened there. It just switched like... Anyways, I'm going to go for this Bone Club here. I'm hoping to grab the shield as I want to farm down with Azumarill afterwards. They actually end up no shielding. And then they have Mew. And then here, I just gamble that they don't have Flame Charge. Right? So they don't have Flame Charge. Meganium is super safe here. They make kind of a weird move here. They go into the Toxicroak, which is kind of their Meganium answer. They actually just sack it. And then I know their Mew likely doesn't have Flame Charge. There's no reason why you would make that switch unless you... and they don't. They have Surf and Wild Charge, so Grass types just absolutely dominate this version of Mew. And I know like I'm in a really good spot here. I resist Wild Charge, I resist Charm. So very likely I'm going to be able to shield here. I'm going to be able to survive here and then be able to land the Frenzy Plan. Otherwise, I was like maybe like 2 bubbles off on the Play Rough anyway, so it didn't really make a huge difference. So I'm actually able to KO there, which is very nice. Okay, and then Lapras versus Azumarill. It's a okay matchup for Lapras. Obviously, laying the Skull Bash. If they have Play Rough, you ideally want to shield the first one. But they threw it like kind of weird time because it's like 8 fast moves, and they actually throw the Play Rough here, which is really nice. So right before I was able to get the Skull Bash, I don't know how they win CMP there, but because of the desync lag at the beginning, they were able to do so. So I'm still in a really good spot here. Decided to let it go. I know another Skull Bash would pretty much KO. So I go for the Skull Bash here. And let's see if they're going to shield or not. They do. And they go into Medicham. And this is really good for me. Obviously, Medicham, I double resist the counters. They can hit me for neutral Psychic. But I decided not to shield. And they actually end up power punching. And I'm going to go for the Shadow Bone. The Shadow Bone doesn't quite KO at this health, but it's going to put them very low. And the defense fell, which is very nice for me because they probably are going for the Psychic. And they go into Azumarill. And I throw the Shadow Bone here. And, then they have Hypno. I'm just going to look to take the last shield. Accumulate some Fire Spin damage. And then look to finish the game with... oh, shoot, this is actually a different team. What am I talking about? Okay. I didn't even realize this team that I'm running right now is actually... I didn't realize I even changed teams going for the flow of the battles, which is Lapras with, obviously, Ice Shard, Surf, and Skull Bash. Flygon with actually Mud Shot, Dragon Claw, and Earth Power. And I'm going to throw the Earth Power here. I actually don't believe this KOs. But it's going to put them very low, so I'm able to Mud Shot down. This team is kind of weak to Azumarill in the back. Both Pokemons have a great counterplay, like Shadow Bone, able to hit for a neutral, Earth Power, able to hit for neutral, and then obviously Lapras, not a great answer to Azumarill, but certainly can have some positive matchups depending on how things line up. I don't know why I didn't cut this part, but we're going to watch me look like, say, you win, because it was a very impressive victory by me, I guess. And looks like I'm thinking and contemplating. Let me see if I can just fast forward a little bit here. Okay, yeah. So this is not a great lead. So, but both my power Pokemon in the back handle it pretty well, and actually come into Mantine, which is actually really bad for me. I'm going to look to throw this Shadow Bone because the Shadow Bone's at least going to hit for neutral damage. The bubbles are hitting for super effective. And they're obviously just going to go straight Bubble Beam. And this damage is really going to add up against my Marowak. And they're actually going to be able to beat me to the next one. Which is really not great. Oh, actually, no, I'm able to beat them to this one here. I think we end up at like another CMP tie. Yeah, and the defense actually fell. I think I can... I debated shielding here, but I don't think it was ultimately worth it. And they look like they blind through the Bubble Beam. Probably because they knew I was going to come back in with Lapras, so... And I'm actually going to look to build up to a move, then switch. So I shield here, thinking that Superpower will hurt quite a bit. They actually end up throwing the Rock Slide, which is kind of weird, and they still switched out. And then here comes the Hypno. Typically, again, with Hypnos, people don't like to shield, and it does a huge chunk. So now I can just straight Dragon Claw. I do build up, or at least look like I'm going for another Earth Power, because obviously the Mud Shots generate energy super quick. And I end up throwing another Dragon Claw at them, just for some chip damage. I actually end up shielding. This is end up being like Thunder Punch, which is not great for me. I do have a Surf Sword, so I do throw the Surf here. And I utilize a very important technique here. So what I did here is that I know they're going to be able to land a Rock Slide. A Rock Slide won't KO, but it'll put me really low. So here I decide to overcharge and make it look like I'm only at the Surf now, quote unquote. So, but they also want to build up because they want to be able to throw at the Flygon. But because I overcharged, I was able to throw off their counts, and they definitely had the move ready. And here comes the Hypno. I'm able to Ice Shard down and take that win. So it was a very nice win on my part. Some really great techniques from a pretty bad lead scenario. Lapras into Stunfisk. This is not good. The Ice Shards are hitting for neutral. The Surf, obviously, going to do a pretty good chunk. But Stunfisk is just really quick to its charge moves. So I somehow lost CMP there, which is kind of weird, but it's okay. I'm gonna look to throw. What I'm gonna do here is look to throw bow surfs and then try to catch the rock slide onto onto Flygon, I should say, because Flygon does resist with its ground typing. Let's see if I'm able to pull this off or not. I actually don't think I'm able to. They did really nice self-constraint there. They're going for the Earthquake, and then I realized, like, if they're going for the Earthquake, I'll just throw the Dragon Claw here and KO them. And they might survive, because Dragon Claw is not a very strong move, but Flygon is super, super, super attack-oriented. And I'm going to go for the Earth Power here. It does connect. And I get a Mud Shot through, and this looks crazy, but I'm actually going to shield. And I'm going to go for another Earth Power, which would almost KO this Azumarill. Well, I probably would have KO'd. And I switch out, try to catch a move. I actually throw the Surf here because I know a Play Rough will likely KO me at this range with no buffs. So I'm going to let this go. It ends up being a Play Rough. And I'm actually going to go into Marowak and look to farm all the way down. I am going to count, so like if they're at Hydro Pump range, then I might throw the Bone Club or something. They actually end up throwing the Play Rough, I believe, Ice Beam. And now I'm going to look to farm all the way down. And they actually go into their own Marowak, which is very bad for them. And I'm going to throw 2 Shadow Bones into this opposing Marowak. I could have Bone Club there, but it doesn't make a huge difference. But yeah, Bone Club probably would have been the answer there because it probably would have KO'd. And I'm going to look to Fire Spin down. They actually end up leaving the match. So I pick up a really nice win there. And let's see what my next match looks like. I had a really... there's not too many changes this season, but we'll see how Generation 6 changes. So this is a really bad lead. So I go straight into Flygon, and they actually switch into Registeel, which is definitely a mistake on their side. These Earth Powers are going to do quite a bit of damage, but Flygon's also really squishy, so I know I have to shield this Flash Cannon, and then they're pretty low because the Earth Power did a lot of damage. So I'm going to actually look to build up a little bit extra energy, and then I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw. If they end up shielding, I'm going to throw another one. If they end up shielding that as well, then let's build up to another one and be able to take switch advantage. So they actually end up having an Azumarill, so they either knew I had Marowak in the back and they wanted to sack Reggie, or I'm not really too sure why they did that switch. And I'm going to throw another Earth Power here. I'm going to let this go. Debatably, I could have shielded, but I don't want to be down so many shields, and they actually go into Toxicrow. They have a Mud Bomb ready. I'm just going to tank the first one. I know they need to throw 3 Mud Bombs, and at this point in time, I'm just going to throw the Bone Clubs. No point in throwing anything else. The Bone Club would probably KO or come close to KO. It definitely would KO after the Fire Spin was registered. And I'm going to throw another one, which is fantastic for me. But at this point in time, I'm mostly just going to fast move down this team. And I'm going to go for the Shadow Bone, but they don't actually allow me to get to the Shadow Bone. But some very nice win there. Is this the last battle? I think I have 2 more, actually. So we'll go Lapras into Azumarill. Something, they've kind of played this weird here. I'm not sure they were trying to get an extra bubble through or something, but they actually allowed me to get to the Skull Bash first, which is really nice, and they actually did not shielding. And I'm not going to let this go because now I am buffed. And they actually throw the Hydro Pump, which is really good for me. They come to Ferrothorn here. This is an example of like where I knew this was Thunder. I probably should have shielded that. And then I wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh, I'm just going to shield once and farm down. That's my plan. 3, 4. This is actually a power whip. I really shouldn't have shielded this because they definitely would have been able to survive with quite a bit of health left. And I'm able to farm down, but that's fine. And then I'm going to throw the Shadow Bone. They did get a bubble through, which is not great. And at this point in time, I'm going to throw the Bone Club for the bait. It also would have put them really low. And I'm going to go straight for another Bone Club. And this probably won't KO. Okay, they end up shielding. And I debate shielding here, to be honest, but I end up letting it go. And they actually undercharge, which is very nice by them. And I believe I actually go into Lapras here, and they have Toxicroak. I'm going to throw the Surf to put them into Dragon Claw range. And that should be a wrap here. Yeah, and Flygon, so spammy with its moves. We'll take it out, and then this next Dragon Claw will be able to take out the Flygon as well. Or take out the Azumarill with the Flygon. Just so spammy. Too bad it's so glassy. And I believe we have one more battle. Nope, that's actually the last battle. So hopefully people enjoyed those teams. I had a lot of fun with them. Hopefully people will find use of them. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see everyone in the next video.